This is Seconds Out. This is Joe Leigh, and this is the man who'll be fighting for the British light heavyweight title in 1 day time, 364 days after your last fight. It's currently 363 days after your last fight. Tell us about how your last year's gone, including sort of the times you were meant to fight Shaq and how that's been postponed.
It's been obviously frustrating times. You know, I won the final eliminator for the British against Sterling last year, June. Was waiting months and months and months for someone to fight for the British. Everyone tied themselves up in a contract. Then eventually they made Shakan mandatory. Thought I was going to fight him December the 19th. Then time the fight was made, his management said he wasn't going to be ready in time. Had a tick over 8-rounder. Obviously wasn't interested, wasn't really up for it. Just ticked over, get paid, go home. You know, it was a funny decision, but we didn't care about that anyway. We're just moving on. Waiting for this British, and then March was meant to happen. Then obviously I got ill, got COVID, and then the whole fight got cancelled anyway because of the whole pandemic with the COVID anyway. And then I was waiting, and then he somehow allowed Chad to fight during lockdown in August, so I had to wait again. Then I was meant to fight September, got pushed back to October. In the end I had to pull off the show to fight November. Then I was going to fight him in November the 14th, and then he pulled off with an injury, said done his nose or something, and then had to wait again, and now we're here a year later. December, so a year and a half since I've been waiting to fight for this British title, but we're here now.
And are you comfortable if it goes to decision tomorrow? Because obviously with the last fight it looked like you won the fight, and then obviously it was given a draw. So would you be comfortable, or do you feel like you have to knock him out?
I think I'll either dominate very convincingly or I'll get him out of there if he makes it to the final bell. I don't want to leave anything close to the judges to make any decisions. If I can take it out of their hands, I'd prefer that. So I just got to go in there, switch on, focus, and do what I do best, really. Just do me. Like for the last year or so, haven't really been doing me, just been going through the motions. It's time to switch back on. Big fight now, something to get up for, and ready to prove any doubters wrong.
Do you feel like the fact that you've been in more high profile fights, obviously 50,000 at the Principality, 10,000 when you fought Jake Paul, do you think that will help you being more comfortable tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. These big fights that you go into, such as the Principalist one, co-headlined or headlined, I think York Hall, after 7 fights, a big fight against another unbeaten guy, 12-0, and I was 7 fights in. That was my first title fight, pressure, then a Buglioni fight. Then obviously we had the big grudge match against Jake Paul, 10,000. Then we had the big area grudge match with Sterling at York Hall. So I've kind of got used to being in the big occasions, big fights, big unbeaten fighters, hungry guys, top 10s. I've been in tough fights, and I believe that through that experience, it can play a part in these sort of fights.
Which was your favourite fight then so far?
Probably a Jake Paul fight.
Really? I thought you'd say Sterling.
I like well, it was a bit messy, like at times with the Sterling fight. I wasn't allowed to do. I kind of got a little bit of a hard time, the holding a bit. I didn't really like as much, but it was a good fight, good war. The build-up was exciting, but even so, I thought the Jake one, because it's the same thing. It was delayed. He called me out on Twitter. There was a title on the line, and there's a title on the line. It's always that much more entertaining. He was the favourite. He was the former GB boy, high knockout percentage, bigger than me, southpaw, awkward boxer. So to that, and he was ranked well above me at the time, and another favourite going into the fight, boxing him. So it was more rewarding, especially the fashion that I beat him in. It was a bit more rewarding for me when I beat Jake Paul, because I knew he's such a good calibre of fighter.
Now on to this week, of course. I spoke to Shaq and I asked him the same question. If he was your manager, for you, obviously, it's if you were his manager or promoter or coach, would you suggest this is a winnable fight for him?
Would he think it's a winnable fight?
If you were on Shaq's team, would you suggest this is a winnable fight or a good fight for him?
Every fight at a certain level is a winnable fight. If I was him, I wouldn't feel, if I was his team, I wouldn't feel comfortable getting in the ring with me, especially with seeing his vulnerabilities and my assets. I wouldn't really think it would be a smart move for him to box me. But if his team believes in him, that's what it's about. He believes in himself, his team. Put yourself, test yourself. And I believe this is his first time ever boxing a top 10 in Britain. So whether he denies it all the time or not, I believe it is a step up for him. And it's a big fight. It's a big fight for both of us. He's tall. He can be awkward. So, yeah, I think it's a really good fight. It makes out to be a good fight.
Mm-hmm. What's next for you if you win then? Because there's other guys in the division. It's got a really good domestic scene. Obviously, Shaq's sparred with Boatsy. Is he someone you get in with? And who else? Doesn't have to be British. Would you like to fight if you do win on Friday?
To be fair, my focus is surely this Friday. I don't really want to look past that. This Friday, getting that British title, to me, as we said, I've had so much domestic fights with 12-0, 10-0, 12-1. These guys, I could have fought for the British, and I've had a good domestic fight. So I just would like to cap that by winning the British title against another unbeaten fighter. Go out there, put a good performance, show what I'm about a bit, because I think my last couple of performances, in my head, knowing I'll win them, I kind of didn't really I gave 60-70% just going in there to get the win and tick the register, which I'd rather go out now, perform and show some of my capabilities to win that. And then after that, we'll see where we go from there. I've got obviously world rankings I can push up towards that way, but we ain't thinking about all of that. All it is tomorrow night, me and Shakan Pitters, British title, and then we'll go from there.
Mm-hmm. And what have you done in this camp to prepare differently to the Chad one? Because would it be fair to say you didn't prepare, you didn't take him seriously enough? Yeah, what have you done in this camp to prepare differently?
Actually trained and had a camp properly for this. With Chad, it was like, meant to fight Shakan, not fighting Shakan, I'm fighting Shakan. Few weeks out, then he wasn't fighting anymore. Then a week or two later, they said this guy Chad's meant to be fighting that weekend on another show, but he can fight me instead. Mm-hmm. So I went back into camp for a couple of weeks, still sparring partners similar to Shakan, still was preparing for Shakan, although I knew I had a different proposition, didn't really even look at Chad. Mm-hmm. I saw him, had a good record. I think he called me out before or something, but I wasn't really interested. Because at first I thought, okay, cool, what's it for? They was like, well, you can defend your title. I was like, great, perfect, 10 rounder. I don't really like fighting short fights. I like 10 or 12 rounders. And then they came back, said he's not credible enough for a 10 rounder. Mm-hmm. No, for your title, it's okay, 10 rounder. Not credible enough for a 10 rounder. You just got to do an 8 rounder. I was like, an 8 rounder? I was thinking, like, if I win, it means nothing. Because, like, if I knocked him out, I would have been the favourite. If I beat him on points, I was the favourite. There was no title on the line. It was just, like, really, like, no incentive to get up for it, if you know what I'm saying. And it was just like, I remember even sitting in my changing room and everyone was like, you just don't seem motivated. I was like, I'm alright. They're like, you up for this fight? I said, I'll get up for it when I get in there. They're like, what's wrong? I said, do you know what? It's just tick the register and go home today, innit? And it was, although I was trying to tell myself I was up for it, I knew I wasn't up for it. It was a frustrated time waiting for the British title. So obviously with all the delays with the British title, with the Shakan thing, it was more frustration. So when I finally got this fight made with Shakan, it was exciting. I got up for camp, we went to camp, we prepared properly, and we prepped properly, and now we're ready to fight. So, yeah.
And someone I do want to talk about, the last question from me. Andre Sterling, since your fight, has had another 2 losses. Where do you think he goes from here?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard because in boxing, it's not look great with him losing, like, after, like, he was unbeaten, very confident, had a couple good wins, you know, Ricky Summers, Kurt Garvey, the English champion, and that he looked like he was set for big things. And then after he lost to me, it seemed the confidence of him went a little bit, and he's took a few more losses. But I've seen strange things in boxing where people's gone to retire, come back, had a couple good wins, and next minute everyone's like, he's destined for big things. So I wouldn't ever say to someone to retire or not retire. It kind of depends on what he wants to do from here, really. How much he's willing to claw it all back and go through the rebuild stage as a person, how much boxing means to him.
Definitely. Well, the fight is live, finally, after so many times it's been booked now. Channel 5 tomorrow night. Good luck, man. Appreciate your time. Cheers.